Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Monday night, 8 p.m. The Online Darts Live Lounge returns. With me, Phil Bars, Jonathan Eaton, and the man on the top corner who's just made it back from the toilet.
That's what you call leaving it right to the edge.
Like, if you want to be able to do these things and not run the risk constantly of that happening, like you shouldn't have like a proper job and kids and anything else. Like it's dangerous, chaps. Are you well?
Oh, I am well. How are we all? Are we good?
I plead the fifth, Your Honour.
I mean, it's a day of celebration, isn't it? It's a day of celebration for one and all.
Why is that?
So, Jarlath is hungover for anyone that wants to know because he might have been watching the Super Bowl last night.
Call it by its proper name, please. The superb owl. Thank you. It is a very, very good bird. Just like we had the bad rabbit on at half time. I've got no idea what he said. I mean, I did Spanish at school and I've got no idea what he said. However, I was vibing along. It was great fun. Great fun.
I didn't watch it, as we all know.
No, it's not for me. I've never got it. I've tried. I think sort of every year. I feel like every year there's like when it starts off. I think, and I've said it. How many times have I said to you, Jar? In like every year, I say, "Oh, This is the year that I'll. This is the year I'll get into it, and I promise I'll follow it more." And I mean, I do give it. I give it a good effort, and I find that after 2 or 3 weeks, it's just crap.
Red Zone's the best place to start, as I've always told you. But anybody, on a side note, we won't talk American football loads on this show. We won't talk soccer either. We won't talk soccer ball, obviously, as well, because it was a great win at the weekend. But anybody who thought that game was going to be anything different than an absolute Seahawks. Oh, hello, dear. Oh, who are we shouting about? There we go. Anybody who thought that the Seahawks were not going to absolutely destroy them had not watched football at all. So, yeah, it was one of those. But we had a great night. As I said a couple of weeks ago on the show, I expected Cameron McFarland to get me match fit for Minehead with my first big practice, or my last big practice before Minehead. And boy, did that man get me very, very practiced for Minehead.
See,
4 weeks, 4 weeks to go.
You need to be practicing daily. Like this is what it's not good enough. Once in a blue moon, special occasions, like things like that, are not good enough. I've got some hobgoblin in the chamber as well for a little bit later on.
I did wonder, are you on the Brooklyn wine?
Can you imagine the amount of trouble we wouldn't get into if I didn't drink on these streams? Like it would be boring, wouldn't it?
Are you seriously? Are you on the Brooklyn?
We wouldn't have to keep having meetings with the PDPA and letters from people.
There is
I'm
never
not drinking
a dull moment at the Online Darts Live Lounge, that's for sure.
It's just it's a cola-based drink. It just might not be.
You're very slow today.
Might not be entirely cola-based.
The chat room is rammed. How we doing, Dale? Chris is in. Malachi Shouty, how we doing? Dale, Kieran, Bobsy is in. Kay, how we doing? Daniel, Mark, good evening, buddy. Math 1000. Yeah, we'll talk about James Wade shortly. James, how we doing, mate? Owen is in. Richard, Robson, how we doing? Giles says, what's up? OD crew, how we doing? Ralph, Marcus, it's rammed already. Ducky, how we doing, buddy? Wayne is in. Gob is in the chat room. Brad. Who else have we got? Warren is in. How we doing? Yeah, it is rammed. Phil, how we doing, mate? Jimmy is in. Great showman, how you doing, mate? Look, never a dull moment in darts. The travelling circus is back, though. And let's be honest, who saw that coming on Thursday night on the banks of the Tyne?
Well, everybody, because we knew that it was going to be in Newcastle. So, you know. But yes, on the stage. Look, obviously, I wasn't here last week for reasons that you eloquently put, that I was doing another job away. So, I obviously would have had Little B Humphreys last week. But what I find interesting here is that you said that he said to you, MVG, that he said that he's tired and retired of making statements. Unfortunately, he can't be, because unfortunately, the way darts is right now, Luke, and Gian are, well, Gian obviously away on the peripheries, like the Andy Murray to the Novak Djokovic's and Roger Federer's and Rafa Nadal's, if we want to go down the tennis route. Yeah. And so, unfortunately, those two are clear. Gian is third because obviously he's a world championship finalist. And then Michael van Gerwen is the best of the rest. So being able to continue with the way that he's been playing, albeit non-ranked events, but obviously made a final in Saudi Arabia, won in Bahrain, and now won night one of the Premier League. He's back. He's back.
And the semi-final on the Pro Tour today.
Well, I was going to wait to that if we were going to talk about that later. You know,
I'm just adding to the mix that
yeah.
This is purely now for me a confidence thing for Van Gerwen.
Yeah,
it's not ability, or it's confidence that he can go and do it now, and he's proven he can go and do it. Look, is it the all-conquering Van Gerwen? No. Is he going to be competitive? 100%.
Let Daniel go. Oh, no, we won't, because Dan's out. He's coming back in and out. Okay.
We'll go like this for a second while Dan sorts his internet out.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Right? We saw last year that Van Gerwen just wasn't at the races. Obviously, we know why now. That has obviously come out, and we know why, what was going on. So, you know, there's that element of things. But I do think that having such a strong start to the year only puts him in a better position, because obviously this year in particular, there's so much money to defend for him in comparison to last year, because he had such a really poor year. And to being able to have that amount, have that such a great start to it, you know, he's defending what? I'm just looking at darts rankings now, 68% of his money he's defending. So to being able to have a great start to the year on a year where you are defending so much, including a world championship runner-up, I think you're defending a world match play runner-up, if memory serves me correctly, as well.
Yeah.
Like, they're just massively important. And, like, being able to have something filled with confidence is great.
Oh, 100%. And look, that swagger is back. That mischief in his voice, that tone in his voice is back. Which that's always the intriguing bit for me. It's body language with Michael. Even when he wasn't playing well, and we knew he wasn't playing well, he'd still tell everyone, "I'm the fucking best." Whether he believed it or not, it's irrelevant. He would tell everyone that and would believe it.
Good to see as well that he has he's already contributed once again to the DRA Christmas Party Fund.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Very, very good stuff on night one of the Premier League.
Well, let's try this.
Should we try and go back? Should we try and go back to the three-way? There we go.
How are we doing?
Any better? Daniel?
How are we doing?
Is that better?
I'm dealing with some instability. It's my internet, my mental state, my marriage, everything. I'm dealing with a lot of instability. It seems, but it does seem, if nothing else, we've tackled the internet instability.
Did your internet enjoy the Super Bowl last night? Is that what happened? Your internet was hungover from the Super Bowl.
I don't think it. I think I did. I tried to do too much at once when I logged on slightly late, and my computer had done a full restart, and I've gone clickety click click very quick, and it's. I think I've taken it by surprise, to be honest.
What can you do? But when Michael's on thing and Wayne's going, "Can you hold this? This is heavy." It's like, yeah, what's this? You get one for winning. It's about fucking time. I'm sorry. It was just so.
I tell you what, from the World Championships onwards, I'm just saying, from the World Championships onwards, the DRA's had a wonderful time. The Christmas Party Fund for next year, I think for the next 5 years, I think is covered. So, you know, looking forward to it.
Flying.
Oh, 100%. Right, let's go into night one. First of all, Newcastle as a venue?
Immense.
I'm going to come to this. Part of it, yes.
Oh.
Other part, no.
Oh.
Careful, Philip.
Front of house, incredible. You'd never know anything was different. However, I don't work in front of house. I couldn't give a fuck what it was like in front of house.
Well, I mean, is this not the Minehead debate?
Well, no, my argument is
Like
this
it's the greatest place in the world when darts is on, unless you have to work there, in which case it's a complete and utter nightmare.
This is a sport thing. This is a sport thing in general. Do clubs, organisations, whatever we want, have to consider behind curtain facilities as well now? In the world we live in, when people are trying to report, and this isn't just darts, this is just in general. This isn't just darts, this is a general thing. By all accounts, practice facilities were horrific, weren't great. Do they have to start taking into consideration behind the curtain things as well, in terms of when you're booking venues or when you're looking at new venues?
Well, just before you go, Dan, just before you go on this one, I just want to say this about Exeter. They've obviously clearly done it with that, haven't they? Because as we know, and we will always say that Exeter is the best venue on the Premier League because the Cattle Shed is the best atmosphere. Behind the curtain, an absolute disgrace. And I will 100% admit that. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, you defend your sissy, Daniel. Go on.
But see, I don't think so. What I will concede is that venue wasn't built for the purposes to which it's often put to use now. You know, it was essentially built as a concert venue that could host some type of, some sporting events, but it wasn't really built for it. What it wasn't built for was a lot of backstage press coverage and things like that. And it doesn't have modern media facilities that we've seen. And I think obviously the problem with that is because it's an aging venue, where you've got things like a football stadium, it's for one purpose, and its purpose exclusively needs media personalities there. Cricket stadiums, Jai, who's been enough of them, is the same. You have to create a facility because it's part of what the purpose of that venue is. With this, let's be frank, 95% of its use doesn't have media coverage. It's just people going to see, I don't know, whoever's playing there that week, could be going to see Busted or somebody. And I don't imagine this. Sorry? Great.
If you're watching Busted, I'm here for it.
Mrs. S never misses them when they're on a tour. I've spent a lot of money on tickets to that band over the years. I've never seen them myself. It's one, there's 2 tickets, love, take a friend. That's the general approach. But no, it's not built for that. And I think what happens is, every venue has a life cycle, a lifespan. I do think, if I'm honest, it's on the arse end of its lifespan. The region is due. They've been talking about for some years that we'll get something the other side of the river, and there'll be a new development there. We haven't seen it yet, but it's the best in the region for that we've got. And I just think, they could maybe do a bit more, but I think some of that's down to the venue, and you're just dealing with a venue and a management.
Well, this is what I mean. The venue is like.
But the thing is,
Newcastle's not the only one. I could write you a list of.
Yeah, but that venue sees you as a bit of a pain in the ass, because I think that, they probably think, well, 99 out of 100 events that we have on here, we've not got some bloke in who wants to ask everybody questions afterwards. Like, and all of a sudden we put the darts on and these fellas all want to get in and do, they're probably thinking, bloody media room. What's it like? It's probably a ball that they could do without. So I get it. And I think, when you look at some of the newer truly multi-purpose venues, places like the Co-op and things like that, they've tried to think of everything, and when they haven't got something custom built, there's that much in terms of the facilities that they've got, in terms of additional space and different function rooms and different areas, and stuff that's a bit sort of cross-purpose and multi-use, that they can cobble something together much easier. It's just an aging venue, that's all.
And a very interesting one, which the picture surfaced on the Friday. Not quite sure how this happened, but I think an internal investigation by Newcastle City Council might be needed. That the Sunderland boss and the Middlesbrough boss and his family managed to get in a box.
Yeah.
Highest bidder, wasn't it? Highest
Not
bidder.
happy about that.
Well, but mate, like, thing is that, you know, I mean, but then again, though, you look at it, you know, very one's big weekend's going to Sunderland this year. You know, it's going to the best city in the northeast, isn't it? So fair enough. Or is he gonna go for the nibble?
You gonna nibble?
To be fair, knowing Daniel. No, I'm about to say, knowing Daniel today, I don't think today's the best day to try and get into fish. To try to go join Gary on the lakes and get him biting. So I'll leave. But I mean, look. But no, it's the biggest problem with all these venues now, and I've said this for a while, is that because we go back to the same places every single year, as Dan mentions, they get older. There's no renovation coming. And therefore, then there's nothing there. Like, obviously, again, I come back to Exeter. They've been saying for years that they're going to have that new arena in Bristol. I mean, I'd love to see it when it's actually going to be finished, probably in 2064 at this rate.
Well, like 5 years ago, we were having that conversation, weren't we? 5 years ago, saying it's probably the last year we'll get to go to Exeter. That's probably, probably won't get there again because it'd be Bristol next time. And we had the same conversation. I mean, we've had the same 5-year conversation about, the Metro Arena in Newcastle, where we've said, well, probably the last year this year, and then it just doesn't. And then again, I think the only, realistically, the only truly new, modern, proper, appropriate venue we've seen in recent times is the Co-op, and the Darts hasn't moved there. So it's so you think, God, like it's popped up in the wrong place, hasn't it?
But also, okay, again, I go back to the NIA in Birmingham. I know, Philip, it's one of your bugbears, that place, and I get it. I really do. But obviously about, 10, 12 years ago, they had a massive revamp of it because it was really aging from the heady days of hosting gladiators. And like from now, and then from between 2008 and 2013, it was a complete mess. So therefore, then they had to revamp it, and they have made it really looking quite nice on the front and all the rest of it. And that's all well and good and very lovely. But inside the back end of it, it's still a complete mess. And it's the same with the Motor Point. Again, I go to the Motor Point in Nottingham. I've been inside the main, areas underneath. We've done it for when Fallon was playing in the Premier League. Phil, we went to the Motor Point in Nottingham. Remember, there was 4 media rooms, and all it was just backstage rooms. They just converted into a media centre, and that's the problem.
Most of the arena media rooms are just changing rooms, aren't they?
Yes.
I mean, I think, where were we last? I'm sure I was in. Was it Manchester we were in, Philip, last year, where we found out Taylor Swift had been in that room very recently? All of a sudden, people were wanting to sit on the couches that she may have sat on, and I've no idea. There was a lot of interest in someone going into the lab. I don't know what was going on in there, but there was certainly a few people went in for a look around.
Well, here's the thing, right? Again, last week I was obviously working at the Motor Point doing an event, varsity ice hockey, by the way, class night as it always is. And then they said, oh yeah, the following night James Arthur's going to be in here. And they're like, okay, great. Some would say that's quite impossible, but who knows at this point? Like I say, it's always the same. And because we have to go to these big venues, we have to, because that's the demand for the Premier League now. It's not like it used to be where we were in, bingo halls in Stoke-on-Trent and all the rest of it. No disrespect to Stoke, but that's where we were. There's a finite, in particular in the UK and Ireland, there's a finite amount of venues that you could use for a Premier League night. And there's no real big new developments that are coming up. I think, like you said, the Co-op is the one. We had the new arena in Aberdeen, didn't we? The P&J. I'm struggling to think of anything else in the last 5 years.
That's the problem we had. I mean, I think me and Phil did it a month or two ago when we literally looked through the Premier League venues that there are in the UK, and then we looked at the other venues that exist in the United Kingdom that are above a certain capacity, and there's only maybe 2 or 3 that we don't actually take in. It is very, and then you look at the proximity of those venues to a venue that we do use, you think, oh well, yeah, you couldn't. You end up having two in the same city half the time. So they're just
well, Manchester does.
And then some of them are very, or some of them are quite close to, especially if you look, Leeds, Sheffield, once you get,
Liverpool,
Leeds, Sheffield,
Birmingham,
Manchester,
Nottingham,
there's like a real cluster around there. But there just isn't, there's no real criticism of the booking because there isn't any other venues. I mean, what's there? There's one in Bournemouth, isn't there? I think
that's too much. The Bix Mile's too small now. That's why it got ditched.
Is it?
Yeah, because that's why it moved to Brighton, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think Brighton's on the chopping block for the same reason. It's too small.
But there's nothing down there, though, is there? Like, there's nothing. And all the rest of it. There's no big arena in the south of England, is there really? Obviously you've got London, but that's not too far away. But then down there, that sort of area, Brighton, Bournemouth, I know they're not close, but you know what I mean, that sort of area, there's no real big like 10,000-15,000 seat venue, and I don't think there's any plans for one either. So until such time as that, the only really one that you've got is, I don't even know if Hampshire's got one really. I was thinking obviously the Rose Bowl, but that's an outdoor stadium.
I don't think there is there?
No, there's not. There's nothing.
And then there's not much, even if you're dead fair and you look outside of like, if you look into Wales, there's nothing really outside of that arena in Cardiff. If you go,
I'm looking forward to going there in a few weeks.
You've got the SSE.
Going there in a few weeks.
I bet you are, mate. I bet you are.
Can't wait.
But there really isn't much at all that's of any reasonable capacity. That we don't already. Well, I suppose the only ones maybe that we don't go to is Coventry's big, isn't it? Must be 10,000.
No, Coventry's awful.
Awful. Like I'm amazed.
I'm just saying, so that's on the list of ones we don't go to. Because we don't go to Coventry, we don't go to Bolton. Bolton's probably not big enough either.
Bring back the Reebok. Bring it back.
Let's
have another night up there
tomorrow morning.
We did we did the Rico in COVID. Awful.
But it's not even that though. Like, Ed, as my grandmother once called him, Ed Sheeran for reasons. Don't ask me why. But Ed Sheeran had hosted a couple of events in Cov and Manchester. He played the Co-op, and then he played Coventry Building Society Arena, which is the one underneath the Rico, where obviously you were for COVID, Phil. And it's awful. You can barely get about 6,000 in there with seating plan. If it's standing, you can get about 15, but you can only barely get 6. It's terrible.
I was just having a look at some of the capacities, and what I thought was quite. This is quite. I hadn't realised that when they've opened the Co-op, they're 500 over the MEN. The MEN's 23, and the MEN's 23, and the Co-op's 23,500, which I think is top work. Very good.
Oh yeah, it's absolute proper shithousery. I like it.
Isn't it? Absolutely. Like they literally put some folding deck chairs out in just to squeeze that extra in. Gorgeous arena. I highly recommend it.
I would as well. 100% move it. Just move it. It's terrible.
Back to the actual night. I actually thought the atmosphere was decent in there. I thought it was a decent atmosphere. It sounded good.
You always get a better atmosphere early as well, won't you? Nobody's sick of it yet. Everyone's up for it.
Yeah, that's the thing. No one's bored of the same walk-ons and
you've
and
also had your recent tournaments where people would have maybe gone in person and watched it, have been in the south. You've gone Alexandra Palace for a month, and then you've been down in Milton Keynes. And so this is, it's the first time that the people in the northeast have had live darts and a chance to watch the biggest names in quite some time. So I think you were always going to get quite a bit of noise and excitement.
Yeah, no, I get that. What did we think when Gian Van Veen upset the tournament favourite and leaves Luke hunting for some points, pointless after night one? Does that just give everyone a little bit of hope?
No. But I'll say this, right? What is it? I think I remember the comms saying this. They had a 35 match unbeaten streak on television before then. 35 matches on television. Well, not even on television. He hadn't been beaten because he hadn't played the Pro. There's no Pro Tours. He had a 35 match unbeaten streak in comparison to anything. It just happened. My biggest thing is, I think that Sunday's final against Luke Humphreys, because of how much he was desperate to win it, because it was one of the two that he hadn't won, I think that really took it out of him. He might not say so, and I understand, but I do think it did take it out of him because it was a really good final. Went 11 sets. You then got to get up from Milton Keynes up to Newcastle, do all the media days and all the rest of it, and then go and play Heian. And he just missed doubles. And I've said this for a while now. His one weakness, if there is a weakness, is that when he gets 2 or 3 at a double, sometimes it can go a little bit awry. The scoring was okay. I'm not saying I love that. I'm saying he's averaging best part of 97. I'm just saying he played all right. That's just the standard that he set. But his one weakness for me, if you can call it a weakness, is that sometimes when he gets 2 or 3 at a dart in hand, it doesn't go. I don't know if he ever thinks it. I don't know if there's anything like that. I'm not quite sure. But I always feel more confident with him on the back end of a 3-dart combo than I am if he's got 3 darts in his hand for it. That's mad. I know.
No, I completely agree. I agree with everything you've said. I think the only thing I'd probably put on top of it is, like, there's a lot of people getting very excited very early about the fact that he didn't win in week 1. The way to think of it is, like, think back to the match play of how many games he was 5-0 down on repeatedly, and then, like, imagine the Premier League is a best of 17. Like, you've got 17 weeks. You know, if he was playing a match best of 17, he lost the first leg, you wouldn't think anything of it. You just think, well, he'd probably just win 4 in a row next, won't he? Like, and I sort of think the same thing. Whilst it's a slightly different, it's a bit of a stretch of concept, but that's what I think. He can lose. He could be winless after 3 weeks, and I'd still make him favourite to win. Because because I think more than any other player, he is able to win 4 or 5 nights in a row without really having to set the world alight. It's not a big news story. And I think it tells you that when the big story is, he's lost night number 1. In reality, that was a repeat of the World Championship final. Like, World Championship finals should be 50-50 affairs. Like, that's how the World Championship should work. A World Championship final, you should be almost tossing a coin. And when those World Champion finalists meet each other, you expect them to take one off each other, especially on a format that short, when it's first to 6.
If you look at it, right, Dan Dawson, by the way, great to see him back on Sky. Why he didn't do the World Final, I have got no idea, but we need to mention this. Dan made a really good point in commentary that if you look at the first 11 legs of the World Darts Championship final, I think Heian won 5 or 6 of them. It was only when the game started to go a little bit deeper did Luke then start to look at it. He won the first set, I think 3-0, if memory serves me correctly. And then he won the first leg of set 2. And I think he had a chance at a dart at a double for it for the second set, if memory serves me correctly. I could be wrong. I was trying to get home at that point from Florida. But my point is that over that short start of the period, by the way, thank you, Greatest Showman, for being a new member. Great to have you with us. Thank you very much indeed. But yeah, I think that if you look at it from the short format of the game, he actually played pretty well in that format of the game. It's only just when it got into the deeper sets and deeper into the match did Luke take control. So there was always that thought that he was going to go on and potentially win it. And like I said before, the fact that he was so short to win the night, I was just like, back anything else. Back anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Joel. My memory is not too good today. Today is not the day for me to be talking about memory. I am feeling very, very dizzy.
Delicate is what you are, aren't you?
Yes.
That is the correct answer. Yes.
Are we concerned after a week for Stephen Bunting?
I was concerned before a week. I was concerned 2 weeks. I was concerned before he even walked out. Yeah, 100%.
Now, just before we go into this, Greatest Showman, going back to him, right? Because he made a point in there saying, I bet Matt Porter's regretting the choice. Now, I'm putting 2 and 2 together here. and I may be coming up with 5, but this is my thinking, right? Back on the day that the Premier League lineup was announced, Matt Porter has normally gone to Sky and defended the picks. This year, he did not. Now, again, I may be putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5, but my guess is that Matt Porter might not have been a one to select Stephen Bunting. I'm just throwing it out there because normally he would be there to defend the picks, wouldn't he? He'd normally be straight on there on Sky and going, "That's what happened." I'm not saying that he might have picked Stephen Bunting. I don't know if he did, but I'm just merely pointing it out there. Should we click this up and get this ready for? Should we click that up and get it ready for a tweet?
I have a slightly different view, which is just I don't think they want to be anywhere near having that conversation in the public domain. Like I think they
who picked who and who's
yeah. And I think so. The moment you start to defend a pick is the moment you acknowledge that a pick needs defending, if that makes sense. So this thing we talk about, no one has ever rejected the Premier League, right? No one has ever. Yeah, but no one's ever rejected the Premier League because they say, well, he wasn't asked. And if he'd have been asked, he'd have rejected it. So you don't do that because you don't want to have to, for me, if you start defending the picks, you acknowledge that the picks need defending. So I just think if you just steer clear from it and you accept that these were the picks, it is what it is. This is who we wanted in our exhibition. This is who we picked. You can book who you want for an exhibition.
I agree, but my point is that, again, for the previous few years, certainly since 2022 when the Premier League picks came out, apart from obviously with the years where the Masters was the final pick, that Matt has been there on Sky Sports News to say this is why we picked certain players. You look at what he said about Luke Humphries. Remember back in 2023 when we all thought that Humphries was a shoe-in at world number 5. He was explaining, look, he wasn't ready, this, that, and the other. He was doing the same last year, did the same the year before that. But this year he wasn't there. Now, again, it could be the fact that he was busy, and we're all busy, and he couldn't get to London. Or they were making picks on the day. I don't know. I don't know the inner workings of the PDC, but I'm just saying that there could be something more to that may be there. But one thing I'm going to say now, and it has really pissed me off the last couple of weeks, I've not been able to say anything about it. Some of the stuff that Bunting's been coming out with, Jesus wept. What are you doing, my man? To alienate more people, is that physically possible with what he's doing right now? Like some of the comments that he came out with, I know he was talking to Love the Darts, wasn't he? The Sky Sports podcast.
Yeah.
Some of the comments that he made on that, I just like, are you that non-self-aware? Or are you going to go down the villain arc? Or I don't know.
No. So I think he's not purposefully going, like, this isn't a heel turn, right? This is like, I think this is accidental. And I think, genuinely believe, whether it's that he's not read, read the room is a turn of phrase, the nation, whether he's read the people.
Well, it's the people. Well, hang on, sorry, he's the people's champion, sorry. So he should be able to read the room, shouldn't he?
I don't think either he hasn't read the people or he has listened to some very bad advice. And
I think that.
My gut instinct is it's maybe a combination of the two. I think it's a combination of him slightly misreading situations and perhaps listening to some bad advice. But I think some of the things he said almost, to me, sound a little bit like rehearsed in the mirror. Like some of it sounds at times a little bit rehearsed in the mirror. And I think and it's just not gone in any way the way that we thought. And I think at some point you've got to make a decision on if you're going to stick or twist. Am I going to keep with this narrative or do I try something else? It's very hard. Very hard to unpick. Very hard to unpick. Once you start down the wrong path. But yeah, he's doing himself no favors, I think, and I don't think he's winning a great deal of fans with it.
Well, the biggest worry I've got for Bunting is that we saw what happened after he finished bottom of the Premier League last year, right? He made a World Match Play quarter-final and then since then done nothing. Yeah. So, really realistically on TV events at least anyway. So I do worry that if he's just going to get his arse handed to him for the majority of the next 16 weeks, whether that's going to impact him again on the Pro Tour. He wasn't there today. And I know a load of the Premier League boys couldn't be bothered. Sorry, decided not to play. Sorry, accidental. That one came out there. But that's the thing, isn't it? Right? He's in trouble. And he may go and win the night in Antwerp. And good luck to him. Genuinely, I do. But I just think that for a man whose confidence has gone, he's so fragile. Sorry, not confidence has gone. Sorry, his confidence is so fragile at times, and especially at the moment. I do worry that having potentially getting your arse handed to you for 16 weeks is just not. I don't think he's got the facilities for that, big man.
It's difficult as well. I think it's difficult to know as well. But from the outside, there is a lot. It seems like very, very. Where we see, and we do get, we're quite lucky. We get a lot of insight into how dart players are living their lives and approaching tournaments and preparing. And we did people talk to it, and you look at the other players in that Premier League who seem really dialed in, and they've really perfected their sort of. They just seem very, very settled. And what we're seeing, or what it feels like we're seeing from Stephen Bunting a lot, is we're seeing lots of sort of quite sporadic entertainment content being produced and put together. And that obviously takes quite a bit of time. These things, we've all made a bit of content here and there. It doesn't happen as quick as, that 2-3 minute video that people see on YouTube. Like, that isn't 2 or 3 minutes work. Like, these things take time. We're also seeing a lot of commercial activities, and this isn't just a badge on the shirt that we see. We're seeing him actively going and promoting partners, and it's join this competitions page and that competitions page, and these people. There's lots of commercial activity. We've seen him actively touting, out on his Facebook, saying if anybody wants me to push them on socials, it doesn't describe. It doesn't show me a man that's dialed in. That's really focused on darts.
Just one big thing. Sorry, babe. Carry on. Sorry.
No, as I said, it smacks to me of a man that's sort of distracted, and perhaps he's making hay while thinks he's lucky to get in the Prem. So capitalize on every opportunity that he can make money on, all the sponsorships, get with every competition company, get with make as much as I can, because if I can't catch my form back, or I've watched Michael Smith and Peter Wright, I've watched these people decline. So make as much money as I can quickly. But
nothing wrong with that.
No, but it just doesn't smack of a man that's focused on playing his best darts, does it?
Well, there's 2 comments here, Phil. I know we need to move on, but again, going back to Matthew, when he's saying that he didn't pick Wade based on the second half of the year, but then they picked Bunting after not having a great second half of the year, that doesn't make any sense. And Warren's absolutely bang on. Totally right.
Sooner or later, he'll start winning darts games and show them all about James Wade. You mark my words.
Well, I think that might come soon, to be fair. But also, that point there that James makes, when he said there's no better feeling than playing darts in Saudi Arabia, that is the people's champion right there. And like you said, the fact that he was offering sponsorship patches, he's the world number 5, for fuck's sake. Come on.
The patches are all taken. It's just like sporadic commercial activity, I think it's literally, get in touch with me and I'll tell you how much I'll charge you to talk about your competitions on my Facebook page. I think it's that level of, and
well,
Yeah, sooner or later, bro's going to be releasing EFTs and stuff, isn't he? Like,
100%. It'll be on crypto. It'll be getting crypto.com. But, there's certain websites like the Diamond Drawers with the allegations, and all that. I mean, personally, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but, I wouldn't like brand as a brand. I wouldn't be signing up to things like Diamond Drawers or something like that. But that's another issue entirely for the people that do.
We'll take money off anybody, Charles. Don't be ridiculous.
No, we won't. We absolutely won't. Except if they've got Saudi money.
I was going to say, I keep emailing the PIF, see if they want to have a logo in the corner of the live lounge. Not returning my calls.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an interesting one.
Hello, Philip.
I'm just...
You enjoying this?
I love it.
What? Guaranteed he's been getting something done in the background, hasn't he?
Yes, yeah. Do you know what I reckon he's been doing the report. I reckon he's been doing the report for today's Pro Tour. That's my guess.
I may have started it.
Yeah, I thought so.
He's getting some work done.
Honestly, you two going off like that, that's fine with me. I got in here at 9 o'clock this morning and I'm still here, so I'm quite happy for you two to waffle.
Just need to set it up, don't we, mate? That's all we need.
Yeah.
Just put 50p in the meter and away we go. But yeah, no, it's an interesting dynamic. Let's play. Let's play a couple of clips first let's do this one.
From a mindset, I don't think that matters because I know I have a good mindset, but it's always nice to be in front of them instead of chasing them. So now they have to chase me and make sure they, to battle back and make sure they get in the tables as well. But for me now it gets a little bit more relaxed. But don't get me wrong, it's going to be still a long 15, 16 weeks ahead, so I need to make sure I keep my focus going. Because I ain't doing a statement, you know that. I don't have to make statements anymore. I'm retired of statements.
Oh, you do, Michael. Oh, you do. I'm sorry, you do.
I love how he made a statement about making statements. He's made a statement about making statements.
Yeah, it was interesting, but this was more of the one for me. This was the swagger's back, and Michael loves playing games and putting it back on the media.
I never said that. I never said that.
It's something that you'd like to do. Sure.
No, but that's your words, not my words. Of course, if you want to be the number one in the world, you're gonna be. You have to face everything, and you have to beat everyone, and you have to be. Then you're the number one of Holland as well. So it's not me about being Dutch number one, because I've been the Dutch number one for a long time, and I think maybe I still am. But it's for myself. I need to make sure I just keep winning my games, and for the rest, I don't really care.
I love it when he's in that mood.
That's the Michael you all know. That swagger, that glint. That's the one where if he's in that mood, you're in trouble.
Now, we've all been very, very fortunate to spend their time with Michael away from darts. Right, we've all had a couple of. I've certainly had a couple of nights with Michael away from darts with nothing and all the rest of it. And he is genuinely, he's one of the funniest people you will ever meet in your life. The sense of humor on that boy is it's off the scale. And so when he's
doing TikToks,
yes, 100%, he would be brilliant on social. If he did TikToks, he'd be great. But as I say, when he's in that mood, and again, I come back to it because going through something similar to what Michael did, not on the same level, but it is what it is. Anyway, you do feel like there's a sense of freedom there for him now. There's a little bit more freedom after a very, very, very tough year. right, away from the hockey. He just seems like it's like that comment that he made to you at the Worlds, Barzy. Do you remember when he said that when Peter Wright said that his eyesight's gone? He was like, "Have you seen my eyes? Have you seen
When
me
you see
today?
my
I don't
dates,
think
nothing
so."
wrong with my eyes. That's one of
I
the
don't think
funniest
there's-
lines.
and I was
I've
just
ever
like,
heard.
"That's what we want. That's
good
what
work,
we
that.
want."
It's
It was
good.
great.
It's very good work.
Absolutely, and like I'm not again. If he can get back to somewhere near his best, and I'm not saying that he'll get back to 2016 levels of MVG and 27 because that's just not possible for me, at least anyway. But if he can get back to a point where he's regularly challenging for major television titles, then we are in a great space as a sport.
No, I agree that I like the swagger to him at the moment, and I love that playfulness because he's just playing with his food and things like that, and that's when he's at his best, and I love it.
Can we mention Mr. Clayton, by the way, because
Yeah,
that
of course
performance
we can.
against Josh
Always
Rock was
time for the ferret.
because that performance against Josh Rock. Look, Josh Rock, I don't think played that badly. Personally, not for me at least. Anyway, I don't think he played that badly.
What,
But
just 102 average?
Yeah, it was shite, really, wasn't it? Let's be honest about it.
Garbage.
But then Johnny, people who are saying, "Oh, I don't know if you should come back in the Premier League," dude. 110 basically on your first night back on the first game of the Premier League. Yes.
This is why we're worried for Stephen Bunting playing him next week.
Yeah.
It's a very worrying prospect, isn't it? That's worrying if you're Stephen Bunting.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, but we normally wait till later. Let's do this week's Premier League predictions while we're here. Then we can the Premier League for the week. We are going to the AFAS Dome in Antwerp for the first time in the Premier League, and we will have Luke versus Luke, Michael versus Josh, Johnny versus Stephen, Gezi versus Gian Van Veen. I like those fixtures. Lovely.
Can I just say very, very quickly, first prediction, we realise that the AFAS Dome in Antwerp will become the new home of the Premier League finals by the end of the decade. That's my prediction. That's my prediction.
Bold.
Because, no, not at all. And I'll tell you the reason why. You can fit more people in there than you can do in the O2 in London. Darts in Belgium has never been bigger, despite the fact that half of the nobody really from Belgium at the moment is on a sort of a run.
Cool.
We've seen what's happened in Belgium. They have 2 Euro Tour events, I think, this year now, isn't it? I think it's 2 Euro Tour events. So there's that, right? And we all know that here's my thought. Obviously, Minehead for me is a little bit different because it's all about package holidays. I get that. But for me, no city should have more than one major final in it. If we're staying at Alexandra Palace and if there's a way to get a major final outside of the UK without having to give up a ranked major, get the Premier League final over to Belgium and let's see that atmosphere. Because the fact that 23,000 people have sold out that arena for the first time ever, if it's it continues to stay, and it normally does, if it continues to be the case, they will have no other option than to move the Premier League final to Antwerp. That's my big prediction before the end of the decade.
You are talking far too much sense for a man with a hangover that bad.
I know. That's maybe I should drink more. I don't know.
It's telling you something. This is like I feel like you've really upped your game. To be honest, it's got you really dialed in.
Thanks, pal.
So, chat room, get involved as well. So, first up, it is the world number 1 against the world number 2. The players that have shared the last 3 world championships between them. Humphreys against Littler. Where are we going, chat? And I like this game that they're both on fire at the moment.
Luke wins.
That's very good, but I'd like a Humphreys or a Littler, please. I'd like a more precise answer.
You can like all you want, Philip, but not tonight.
Not tonight. Do you want some chaos? Do you want some chaos? I'll go.
Go on then.
Luke Humphreys wins 6-4 because is there anything more chaotic than Luke Littler losing the first 2 weeks and still winning the Premier League?
That's an extraordinarily fair point that I didn't think of, actually. Nah, go on, sorry. I'll go with you. 6-5. It's another classic like we had. Was it Aberdeen last year when
Yeah.
the two of them played a game that was possibly, certainly in that format, the greatest Premier League match that's ever been in that format, at least anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, go on. We'll go Humphries 6-5. But if it goes Littler's way, I'm not going to be shocked. Obviously, the world number 1 and 2. Can I just say, I've just looked at the live order of merit. The fact that Littler is £1.6 million ahead of Luke Humphries in 2 is just ludicrous, isn't it?
Mad, isn't it?
I said before, and I'll say it again. There's a huge chance he gets to 3 million. If he wins the match play, he'll get 3 million. Ludicrous.
So I was going to agree with you fuckers, but now I'm not. So before you two went, I was going to go Humphries, but now I'm going Littler.
You can't make it a clean sweep, can we?
When we start agreeing on stuff, it's like we're done. Romeo.
Especially when we're agreeing on stuff that isn't sort of the most likely thing to happen.
Yeah.
Well, let me have a look. I don't normally do this, but I'm just going to check the betting odds if that's all right.
I think Littler will be.
Remember, gamble responsibly. If you want to have a bet, go on. What do you think Littler is?
1-2.
Yes, Humphries is 13-8.
Oh, stop it!
Yeah, Littler's 1-2-1 to win in that one, and Humphries is 13-8. That's a bit too big for me. Yeah, it's too big for me not to have a little nibble on that.
Very intriguing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's too big. So
you're trying to do stuff, aren't you?
No, that's fine. MVG against Josh Rock.
They're both. It's basically a pick 'em. This MVG's 5-6 and Josh Rock's 10-11. That's stupid. Stupid money. Give me MVG all day. 6-3.
All the way around. I think Josh Rock played too well last week to not back it up. I think he'll want to come and get some points on the body. Won't want to blank for a couple of weeks. I think he'll be really up for it. And I think Michael Van Gerwen, whilst we've seen some great stuff from him, I think he's still up and down. So 6-3 the other way. Rock wins.
I think him playing as much as he has, I think going to the Pro Tour is a good thing. I like it. And I'm going for MVG 6-4. If he hadn't have played the Pro Tour, I think I may have gone Rock. But I think the fact that he has played the Premier League, the Pro Tour, I think he's battle ready. I'm going for MVG. Sorry, I'm multitasking. Yeah, we'll go to the chat room. I'm trying to do a million and one things. K63 MVG, Ducky 6-3 MVG, Bob's 6-3, and a lot of love for MVG. K's going 6-5 Rock. Jim's 6-1 MVG. Chris 6-4 MVG. Kieran MVG 6-4. Rock 6-3. MVG pull out tomorrow. No, I think he plays.
We might as well.
I think he has to play.
We might as well do, because like all he's got to do is then drive, what is it, an hour and a half or something like that? Then to go
he's not a million miles. Greatest Showman going Rock 6-5. So going into the bottom half of the draw, Johnny Clayton against Stephen Bunting. Is it a Bunting?
Just going off the betting market, Clayton's 8-11 on, and Bunting's 11-10. I think I might have the Johnny Clayton handicap at this point.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's big. 6-2, Johnny. I think he's too good. I don't think Bunting's in the right place. I think I almost think it's a really terrible fixture for Bunting, because Johnny he's so good in that environment, and he's just not a man that is going to be in any way just drawn into any stress about it and get worked up. He's just going to go about his business and he's going to beat him 6-2.
Sorry, I've just been looking as well at how long it is to get from Hildesheim to Antwerp. It is 5 hours, to be fair, in the car. So it's a lot longer than I thought.
Wins are good, though.
Yeah, good point. Yes. No, Clayton pisses this 6-2, 6-3. I think he might have a couple of legs off, but I reckon he'll just do it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another 107, 108, to be honest, because, again, I don't think what's helped is that Bunting didn't go to the Pro Tour today, did he? Pretty sure he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Nope.
No. So, when you are in as much trouble as you are, when the fact that you went out early at the World Masters, you haven't played well in Bahrain or Saudi, and you've now gone out night one of the Premier League getting humped. Math ain't math in here, Brev. No,
he's also putting his ranking under threat not playing these Pro Tours as well,
Well, you look at it, what is he now? He's world number 7, and obviously the world number 8 is just, we've just got a new world number 8 today.
It's just fair. James Wade turns up, wins it, and he's jumped up 3 spots to world number 8. Yeah. He's depending on which tournament you're playing fairly soon, he could be a game off, he could be a match off winning, or he could be a match off taking that spot. And I think it's amusing with the Premier League going on that today he overtook Josh Rock and he's within spitting distance now of Stephen Bunting. So yeah, those rankings are interesting.
Yeah, to a point, but he's safe on for the big boys at the moment. The Pro Tour Order of Merit is the one they look at, and he's still ranked 2 on that. Johnny, you laugh. Jar will tell you, I can multitask while driving.
Points make prizes, as we know. Hang on, sorry, didn't you join the Fallout bar one time when you were in the car?
Not necessarily.
I may have been in the car.
Yeah, you were in the car. You weren't driving the car. Correct?
He joined the Fallout bar, then set off driving, and then pulled over to a safe space to finish.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he was driving. No,
I just very clearly established
absolutely correct. Yeah. Just thought I'd just establish that.
Allegedly,
the car was moving. If you thought the car was moving, it's worth pointing out he was on private land the entire time. He was just doing laps of a Morrison. He was just doing laps of a Morrison's car park. He was just having just wanted to give the car a run out. That's all. The heating wasn't working at home, and he just needed to get in the car and get the heating on.
Good evening, Christopher.
Evening, Mace. Hope you are good, my friend. I'm going for a Johnny win as well, 6-3. As is Kieran. Ducky's going for Clayton as well. As is K 6-4. Great Showman 6-2. 6-2 for Bob. 6-4. There's not a lot of love anywhere else. West Wales 6-2. I like that. Yeah, there's
Bunting. Someone's picked Bunting.
Have they? Are they all right?
Yeah, one of them has. Yeah, gone 6-5.
Yeah. And then the final one is the Iceman Gerwen Price against Jan van Veen. I think this will be a good game. I like this.
I'm looking forward to this more than I am the Luke Derby, to be honest. I think this could be an absolutely superb game.
And I'm going first on this.
Go on then.
I'm going for the Iceman. I like what I see with Gezi at the moment.
Well, here's one for you.
Price wins. I think Price picks up a big pot this year.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
I like what I see. I like his attitude. I like his body language. I like what he's doing. And I'm expecting big things from Gerwen Price this year. I'm going to go.
Here's one for you.
3 Price.
Sorry, mate. Sorry to keep interrupting, but I was just going to say this, right? Gezi is 11-10, and Hean is 8-11 on with the bookies.
Oh, I like that.
Recency bias, starting it.
But also, Jan van Veen has never beaten Gezi on TV. And also, he has won only 1 game against Gerwen Price in 8. And that was in the European Tour last year in a quarterfinal. Everything else, he has beaten him in. So the traders aren't the math ain't math in there from the traders. There are some rogue prices about today. Rogue prices about, which I think will be corrected by the time they watch the show, because obviously, as we know, we influence the traders, as we know. So
Move markets.
We
absolutely,
disrupt disruptors, mate. That's what we're doing.
Correct, absolutely right. So no, I'm with you. I think Gezi wins, and I think he wins a 6-3. He hadn't played well last week. Sorry, he hadn't played well last week. Don't get me wrong, but he also came up against Luke who was off form. But you still have to take your chances, and eventually he did. And then you came up against Johnny, who just couldn't back that up on his first night back in the Premier League. No disrespect, but it happened. So, but Gezi mismatched darts against Luke Humphries in probably the game of the night, as we called last week.
Unbelievable game.
Yeah,
We can't all agree, can we?
we can.
Can.
I just if I'd have gone first, I would have said that Gezi Price wins 6-5. I just for all of the aforementioned reasons, and without boring everybody by just repeating the same thing, Gezi Price wins 6-5.
Well, you got 6-5. I've got 6-3. Philip was going for what?
6-4.
Well, there we go. I haven't agreed on the scoreline. So
No.
fine.
He'll win 6-2, won't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Hang on.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah, Gezi played today. Played okay. Look, I'm just thinking. I just like what I see from Gezi. So, from your predictions and chat room, I would like your winner and who they beat in the final in Antwerp for the first time. Who takes the inaugural night win in Antwerp on Thursday night?
Right. So, can't have an All Dutch final again, can we?
We can, but it won't happen because we
can.
back Gerwen.
No, we
back
can't.
Gezi to beat.
We can't without predictions. That's right.
No.
We
Yeah.
can't have an All Dutch final based on the game. It'd be very, very hard to have an All Dutch final if they get beat in the first round, isn't it? The pair of them.
Well, I've got
So-
MVG winning, so
I haven't. I have got the final is Gezi Price and Luke Humphries,
oh fuck off.
and the winner,
Is darts.
the winner is Antwerp. Antwerp is the winner. Gezi Price beats Luke Humphries in the final.
You dick.
Sorry.
Yeah, you dick.
Yeah.
You're getting quick, lads. So you're getting but on a night where we all agree too much, the man in first is winning. That's not like,
No, that's what I was going to go for.
I was
I'm
going
gonna
to say as
say,
well. For fuck's
Gezi
sake.
beats.
See, like
Yeah,
on a
Gezi
night where
beats
we're all
Humphries.
agreeing, you've got to get in quick. Like, it's too obvious. We all saw what was happening there. We've agreed far too much.
Well, I think we could all agree on this, and I don't think it's going to
Which probably means Bunting's beating Littler in the final in reality, based on our prediction history.
But look, I think we can all agree on one thing that isn't going to affect anything. Gerwen Price against Johnny Clayton in a semi-final. Gezi wins that. Are we correct on this one?
Johnny needs to beat Gezi and beat him quickly because this record is starting to run away from Johnny at the moment, like
Correct.
massively. That
Very
they're fully aware of it as well. That Johnny needs to end this sharpish.
And he won't
It's
do it this week.
too much of a topic of conversation, isn't it? And Johnny
Yeah.
needs to put it to bed. And it doesn't really matter, I think, where he puts it to bed. He just needs to arrest that very quickly, and get hold of it, because otherwise,
it doesn't matter where, how, or when, whether it's a win on a Euro tour or even a Pro Tour.
Oh, mate, I'd invite him around the house. I'd be just any excuse. I'd have him just on a Sunday morning, just trying to. He just needs to get a win, or needs to remember that he can beat him.
Was the last time he beat him, from memory, at least certainly on a television stage, the last time he beat him, the 2021 World Grand Prix final?
It's a long time.
Because he beat him in that game because he was unplayable that week. And I think that I'm trying to think of another time where Clayton's beaten Price on Clayton's beaten Price on TV. I can't think back to anything other than the 2021 Grand Prix final.
I can't.
Someone in the chat room can correct me, and that's fine. But I'm just trying to think.
I'm just looking on the new PDC website, which the stat pages are very, very good. The last time The last time Johnny Clayton beat Gerwen Price was 6-4
telly.
in the 2023 Kazoo Premier League semi-finals, night 9.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Well, but he's lost what? He's lost the last 10, is it, or something stupid like that?
4, 5,
Well, he said he lost the last 10. I was looking on Darts Oracle. Yeah, he's lost the last 10 games to him.
Yeah, it's the 10 on the spin for Gezi.
Wow.
We're not
Yeah.
talking about the new board, Brad, until anybody sends me one. Once I've got one,
Yeah,
I'll talk
true.
about it.
I have one.
Yeah, I know you've been sent one. And once one arrives once one arrives up here, and once the village postman comes round and sticks one in here, then we can talk about it. then I'll tell everyone about it.
To be fair, I love the new board, and I've had a chuck on it for a good couple of hours. I love the new board.
Did it feel nice? Did it feel good?
Yeah,
Happy with it?
yeah, it's absolute superb board. And look, a lot of the bounce outs, I don't think they are actually bounce outs. I think you look at this year's Premier League as well, that there's the moulded flight and stem, which are notorious for bounce outs. And I think there is more collision. I don't think it's the boards itself.
Well, just going back to it, yeah, Gezi beats Luke in the final, 6-4. And I think Luke Humphries beats MVG in the other semi-final. There you go. So congratulations to Stephen Bunting on winning the Premier League Night 2 in Antwerp.
Right. From here, we are going to talk Beau Greaves because
Did she do anything?
It's been
Has she done anything this weekend?
It's been a special time for Beau. First of all, making her debut today as a tour card holder for the first time. And this run she is on in the women's series is fucking ridiculous.
Obscene.
Well, before we get
fucking ridiculous.
We'll get on to the women's series in a second because that is special. But to get to a last 16 on your debut on the Pro Tour as a tour card holder, that takes some effort. That does. We're going to say take some bollocks, but that'd be quite ironic, obviously. No, she has played absolutely unbelievable. I tell you what I really, really enjoyed today with Beau, watching her at least, was that you look that first game against Jimmy Van Ski, she was it was 5-all, and she started 45 from 55 in a last leg decider. And I was thinking, I messaged you guys, didn't I? I said, she'll learn, you can't cheat yourself on the biggest, in that moment. She didn't. She went back-to-back 180s and then won the game. And then she beat Owen Bates with a brilliant game as well. And then she goes and beats Cam Crabtree. Those are three, in particular, Jimmy Van Ski. We've said for a while he was the best player without a tour card. She's gone and beaten him. Owen Bates has got a great game in him, particularly on the floor. He's averaged 96. No disrespect there. And Cam Crabtree's averaged 97. Nearly 98. It was a classic game, and she came through that. So to get to a top 16 on your debut on the Pro Tour as a tour card holder, we said it for a while though, didn't we? That players won't want to play her because it's not like it's not just the fact that like obviously the women factor, and like I hope at some point that goes. We just accept that she's an absolutely phenomenal talent.
There's a person playing darts, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing. She's a fantastic talent playing darts, and she's just brilliant. She's just brilliant to watch. I enjoy Beau, and all I hope is that certainly on the Pro Tour, I think what's really important there was the fact that was the first one she didn't get blown out. She didn't get a 6-0 or a 6-1 and knock confidence a bit. She's made the last 16. That is a huge marker already put down. I'll go out on a limb. I don't care. She wins a Pro Tour title this year. I don't care.
I think she does as well.
If you look at the level that she is able to produce, like especially when we look at or we think about the players that we expect to not be appearing in that many Pro Tours, I think we've probably seen more of the bigger names today than we generally will. I think think over the course of the year we'll often see even less, especially once we start to get some of that sort of almost Premier League lethargy. You know that like when they're really in the midst of travel and playing a game, then travel somewhere else, then a Euro tour, then a Premier League. Then, but I think you'll see even less of the big names on there. And when you look at the players that have picked up a Pro Tour win over the last 24 months, she's a better player than a good number of them that have picked up a title. A much better player than a good number of those players. And there is 100% a run, definitely a run in there. And yeah, great, good stuff. I do think she will be the player that forces us to stop talking about the fact that she's female. I think I genuinely believe that over the course of the next 2 or 3 years, I think she has the ability, certainly has the ability to become a dart player, not a female dart player, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And the big thing is as well is that she's playing unbelievable. We'll come on to the Women's Series in a second, obviously, but she's playing that well. She's on to the last 16 of this. If she gets another big run tomorrow, obviously Wednesday, she's got ET qualifiers. And if she can get into one or even both of them, look, I'm not going to say this because I don't think that she will do. But, if she plays in everything, maybe has a couple of deep runs, could she be playing in 2 competitions in Blackpool?
Oh, you have fallen for it, my friend. You have fallen for this trick that Luke Littler has played on the world.
No,
which is
disagree.
Making you think that what he does is actually realistic for anyone else to like.
No,
it's not realistic for anyone. I agree.
But there's only 2 players that have ever won their tour card on and in the same year qualified for the Betfred World Match Play, as we know. Glenn Durrant and Wonderboy. I am not saying that Beau is at that level yet, but we saw what she did against Littler on the Dev Tour in the World Youth in that semi-final. For me, probably the game of the year. We couldn't even watch the fucking thing. But also, the biggest thing here is that did he win this tour card at Q School? I'm not sure.
I thought Bunting did. Oh no, Bunting didn't. Bunting was given his card.
Didn't win it, but yeah, Bunting got his card, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I
he didn't go through there.
I think does it was just Duzzer and Littler that made the match playing at the Pro Tour.
The 2 greatest players of the last 10 years. I don't know where we start measuring people against. Like, everybody knows that it's Glenn Durrant, Luke Littler, and somewhere behind everybody else. Yeah, I don't.
Well, actually,
where do you start measuring everyone's achievements off those 2? I don't know.
I just thought actually Littler didn't get it from Q School, did he? He got his 1-year tour card by going to the World Final. So I think actually it's just Duzzer that's done that. I could be completely wrong, but I need to check that. But I'm pretty sure it was just certainly in the last few years anyway.
Yeah, I was like, others have done it, but I'm not sure they've got their cards from Q School. Like I know Bunting did it, but he was given his card to get into the semi-final at Lakeside and things like that.
Mernon did Joe, because Joe Mernon, he wasn't even a tour card qualifier, was he? I think he had a tour card at that point.
But anyway, Q School, did he?
I don't think he did, but as I say, anyway. My point is this. It is very difficult on your first year on the PDC to get to the World Match Play, especially in the current climate that we are. And I don't think that Beau Greaves will do it. However, if she plays in everything, the chances is that she will win a title. And if she can go and win a Euro Tour, in particular, when certain players won't turn up because they don't need to, it gives her more chance to do so. And if she wins a couple of titles, that's all I'm going to say.
Where I will concede, right, to the possibility is obviously you look at the top 6. You look at the qualification for the match play. The top 16, like that, they are the top 16. And then you come across and you start to look at the Pro Tour order of merit, and you look at it and you think, oh, yeah, okay. I tell you what, there's some shite in there. And when I say shite, I don't mean some shite players. I mean some shite form. Like there's
Yes.
people who are in there based on playing quite well a very long time ago, and they haven't been producing anything close to that for the last 8-12 months. Some of them are a mile away from the form that took them there. So what I do think is I think there is an awful lot of chopping and changing over on that right-hand side on that Pro Tour Order of Merit qualification for the match play. And then I look at the players who are hovering around the outside of that. And really, you look at them and you think, Raymond van Barneveld is is in 17th spot. And you think, well, he's doing, he's doing very little. Core Decker's there, Karel Sedlacek, Richard Veenstra, Mario van den Bahar. That's the next. That's like 17 through 22. Well, I expect them both to pick a lot more money up than any of those lads. So
here's the thing. Well, it depends if Barney turns up for all of them, isn't it? Really. But genuinely, I'm not even trying to even at him at this point. I'm not even trying to be my usual self with him.
Are you saying if he turns up, he wins?
No, I'm just saying if he turns up, he might try and get some money.
Unless he wants. Merv King. Merv King turns up. Merv King wins.
Yeah.
Yes, good point.
I think if Raymond van Barneveld turns up to a Pro Tour event and plays Beau Greaves, she completely dicks him. For one of her things.
By the way, yes, a couple of people in the chat room have said this as well. Joel and Wrestle Jamie, I think it was as well, saying that Rabbi John. Yeah, the reason why I don't think that I always think that Rabbi John didn't kept his tour card because he finished 65th and someone dropped out. But no, you are correct. He did make the match play on the first year of his tour card.
A lot of people in the chat room are saying this.
Going in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Jolliffe. Thanks for being in the Barney Army.
Hero.
I hate you. Like, I'm not even lying now. I fucking hate you.
Do you know what, Jar, as well? Me and Phil have committed so much time lately, you wouldn't believe it, into little things like that. Like how much we can and sometimes the discussion, it starts with how can we really improve the production of the show? And it ends up with like, how can we really shit out someone if we have to?
You know when I said that I was happy to come, you know when I said I was happy to come back on this as a regular guest, regular contributor. Yeah.
You got your own entrance music. You're coming on to Eye of the Tiger. What more do you want?
Going back to the original point, because I don't know if you guys watched Beau's game against Jimmy Van Schie. The impressive thing today is she had a wobble.
Yes.
And just watching it, you could see her. She had a big wobble. And she managed to forget it, put it behind her, and recover. That is so impressive because the action broke down mid-game. You could see it all over her face, all over. It was like, oh, shit, I'm in the biggest arena going. I'm on a PDC stream board, and it's broken down. And the way she mentally recovered was sensational and an absolute credit because a year ago, I'm not sure she could.
I was going to say at least 3 or 4 years ago, there was no chance of that happening.
No. And the way she recovered was brilliant. And it's almost, I've got this. I believe I am good. I know I can win. And the way she recovered it was sensational.
I was at work today. I saw very little other than, the occasional check onto Dart Connect. And then I caught up on what I could. Well, to be honest, I sort of finished work and then came on this, so I caught up on very little. But I did see across the socials that had happened. Well, interestingly enough, like it was again because social media is just like the very, very bottom scrapings of society a lot of the time. I noticed lots of people commenting on the negative, but without the positive spin that you both, correctly put on it. That like. Yeah, it happened in a game that she won against an incredibly good dart player where she managed to dig in, sort it out, and get herself over the line. Like, I think that's a massive positive. If I'm like, I think it's a good. So, and let's be honest, we haven't seen that from a lot of other people who are suffering from similar, ups and downs and breaking down of action. We've seen them just continue to fall off a cliff and slide down the rankings. So, yeah, I think it's like I say, I haven't seen it myself, but from what it sounds there is a positive in there. Whilst it's a negative thing for it to happen, but I think there's a positive in there somewhere.
Also, look, going back to this women's series record, this is ridiculous. 113 games unbeaten on the women's series. That is remarkable. Like,
Now,
unprecedented.
Now, I always say, for me, there are two records in sport that are genuinely ridiculous, right? If you look at what Philip Douglas's record in Blackpool, I can't remember exactly. I think is it something stupid like 84-7 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Something I can't remember exactly what it is. And chat room, please correct me if I'm wrong. Well, correct me with the right numbers, right? The best record I've ever known in sport is Rafael Nadal at the French Open.
Roland Garros.
112-4. That is just ludicrous.
That's good, isn't it?
Okay. 99-7. Thank you, Connor. Appreciate that, mate. And yes, I am Irish, even though I don't have the Irish accent. But that's a story for another time. Don't even go there.
But that's a side podcast that on its own, isn't it? That's That's the day we finally set up the Patreon. That'll be episode one on the Patreon channel. We'll just be analysing Jarlath's heritage.
Yes, but 112-4 at Roland Garros. I'm not saying that Beau is getting to that level, is at that level yet, but she's bloody getting there. To not lose in 113 games, that is an unbeaten record that's nearly a year now, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's a year now.
Longer than that.
It's ludicrous.
It's remarkable.
Right. So let me just play devil's advocate for a moment, right? Is it something that we should be like celebrating and saying that's incredibly dominant, it's absolutely unbelievable? Or is it that the rest of the competition in those tournaments isn't moving quick enough or improving quick enough or developing as quickly as it should? Like, is it because when you look at and I take your point and I take the Rafa Nadal thing, but then you think, right, well, that is a particular venue on a particular surface, and when you took him away and you put him on grass, he wasn't as good, wasn't as dominant, etc. So I just want to, and I tend to agree with you. I'm just looking for almost a discussion point as to, like, if somebody is able to dominate that much so consistently over such a long period of time, doing exactly the same thing as everybody else, or like with this on the same level playing field as everybody else, then at what point do we start to look at why the rest of them aren't able to keep up?
Because she's just better. It's simple as that.
Because Luke Littler's better than everybody. But he doesn't win every single Pro Tour event he enters, and he doesn't win every single Euro Tour he enters, and occasionally he gets beaten.
Well, that's because we're not sugarcoating it. The talent pool on the PDC on the Pro Tour is deeper than it is on the Women's Series, and I don't think that's a bad thing to say. But
no, it's not.
At the same
and
time,
it's correct.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, she's just the dominant figure. Like, that is it. It's as simple as plain as that. I think the biggest thing is we've known for a while just how good Beau's going to be, and we've said for a while, and I've said for the best part of 6 years that I think she has the capability to be the first female top 32 player, and I don't dispute that. I'm not going to change my mind on it, but the simple fact of the matter is this: you look as well though, and yes, she's absolutely flying on the Women's Series, and yes, she's just completely in a different level. There is Beau Greaves, and then there is a next level with Fallon, Lisa, and everybody else around that sort of area, and then there's everything else. But the floor on the Women's Series is coming up. If you look at from the first year of the Women's Series, people were averaging the best part of 50, 55, 60. Now, most of the averages, I think, let me just go into Dart Connect. Let me have a quick look at one of them.
And this is the challenge. the issue I have, right, and it's not an issue, it's an observation, is the semi-final and final for event number 3, her opponents have averaged 70 and 76. And it's a good standard of darts. Of course it is. But if the semi-final and the final, she's having to overcome 70 and 76, of course she's going to win everything. And is it that what we want or should be wanting is that, because it's not that's not the flaw. That's not the flaw of performances. That's the semi-final and the final.
But I mean, obviously as well, and Bobsy made a good point that some women as well were playing in the Dutch Darts Open, so we do need to take that into consideration. Not all of them, but there we go. But and Bobsy going, Mikuru isn't playing the women's series as much as she used to. Is that due to Beau winning every event? No, that's just because the cost is ludicrous.
And she earns a fortune playing soft tip.
So between events 3 and 4, and I'm like, so between events 3 and 4, semi-finals and finals, she's beaten averages of 70, 76, 75, and 73. And I know you can only beat what's in front of you. And I accept that she is going to continue to dominate. But at what point do we say everyone else needs to get a bit better, you know?
No, well, of course, everybody does. But also as well, I personally think they are hoping that Beau wins a couple of titles quickly on the Pro Tour and the Euro Tour. Because that way then she'll jump into she jumps into the top 64 and then they can have a go.
That's an interesting, that's an interesting point.
But until such time as that, like somebody's got to be able. It's very similar, I think, to Philip Douglas at the Circus Tavern, right? Most of the time, people, when you were playing Philip Douglas at the Tavern or at Blackpool, to be fair, you shat yourself because that was his domain. You know, he didn't not make a final at the Tavern in his era. Let me have a quick look. What was his worst performance in Blackpool? As I think he's got to have at least got to a quarter final every year.
His worst performance in Blackpool wasn't on a dartboard.
Oh God, Daniel,
it's good.
Stop
joke.
now.
It's a good line.
Oh, Daniel, please, no, not now. Anyway, but like I say, my point is that there were moments, right, where those were his domain, and most people shat themselves. And unfortunately, in the women's series right now, she is Thor. She is the final boss. Geordie, leave it.
And you're right, and I agree. I'm just sort of playing devil's advocate a little bit and saying, you know,
I know you are.
It is. There is an element of, you know, when somebody dominates so much, you do have to sometimes look at everybody else and think, well, because we do it with Luke Littler. We look at Luke Littler and we say, and we're constantly being told about the the next Luke Littlers that are coming forward, and the 17-year-olds, the 18-year-olds, the 16, 14, 15-year-olds that are coming through and being incredibly talented. Like there's got to be some female equivalents coming through the system, but we're just not seeing them just yet.
It's a great song, by the way, Caravan of Love, but we're not going down that road today. Also, though, as I say,
with the ladies' game I think the talent pool has improved.
Oh, yeah, it has.
And it is getting deeper. It just needs more time to flourish and develop.
Well, you look at...
Getting there.
I was just going to say, you look at the PDC, you look at the Pro Tour, and you look at... the World Championships. Look, again, I'm not trying to take away Philip Douglas's records, but let's be frank, most of the time he was beating shite all the way up, at least into the semis and the final. There wasn't that depth. is my point. The point in with the PDC, at least, is that it didn't really start to really develop that depth until about, I'd say, 2003, 4? Would that be a fair assessment? Maybe 2006 sort of area, when they moved to Ali Pali and they had a bit more money. It took them a while. It took them a decade, really, to develop the depth of players that could go and genuinely compete with Philip Douglas. Right? I'm not trying to. This isn't me trying to compare eras. I'm not doing that. My point is that this is what will happen with the women's series. It takes time to develop. It's been going for 5 years now, and it's a great opportunity for women to come and actually play and develop and learn. And I think it will take till about a decade for the fruits of the labour. I mean, you look at the Dev Tour. Look at the Dev Tour. Dev Tour started 2010, 2011, when the World Youth started, and it took them a while, but that system is starting to work. You look at the last 3 winners of the World Championship: Michael Smith, Luke Humphreys, and Luke Littler twice. All of them have come through the Dev Tour. All of them.
Oh yeah, look, it will take time, and look, the JDC are doing a great thing as well. There's more girls playing within the JDC, and so on, and mixing it, and they will come through. It was a shame that obviously people like Paige Pauling was at the Dutch Open and not the Women's Series, because that would have added to the depth on the Women's Series as well, which would have been a good thing. I think Paige was like the real standout of the young crop that we want to see come through and challenge and get better.
Just as a side note, Connor's just asked about what about Humphrey's comments on Littler being the best ever. Should we save that for question time? When I can make a point before we do that.
Yeah, we can touch on it later on, because
That's the maddest comment.
What's this? What's the comment?
Right, 2026 is the year of Dimmy. That's the weirdest comment.
He played very well today.
Again,
I'm not saying he's back, but the performance
was right twice a day, Phil, isn't it? Like,
yeah, that is true.
I don't buy it. Like, I don't. I think if he'd have won today, I genuinely think if he'd have won the day today, I wouldn't buy it. And how far did he get?
He's only top 64.
Well, he's only won one match.
Yeah.
But it's the manner of the performances. From where the performances were last year to where they were today, it is a massive improvement.
All I'm going to say is that Adam Gavalas made a PDC Pro Tour semi-final before Dimmy has recently. That's all I'm going to tell you. I don't need to say anything else.
But yeah, going back to Beau situation, I agree. It'll be interesting, because I think she gets to the top 64 in the world, and then she cannot play on the women's series. That is an interesting time then for everyone else.
That's when you've got the opportunity to go, right, I'm taking this up now.
And make a few quid. You can make a few quid. There's money to be made all of a sudden.
I thought Fallon played some decent stuff at the women's series as well. A couple of high 90s averages. She's getting back to somewhere near her best as well. Gemma, Lisa, they all had moments, but it's doing those moments at the right times. It's all right having a moment against someone that's not playing well against you, or someone that's an inferior player. It's having those moments against Beau and so on, and doing them when it matters.
Correct.
And look, timing is a huge thing in all of this. But look, super credit to Beau today. It was superb. Also over the weekend, really good scenes for the amateur game, if we will. Look, the Dutch Open always looks impressive. The amount of people that are there and so on. That's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, amateur tournament in the land. So again, are we surprised that goes well and goes good?
No.
No, not at all, because it's what happens at the Dutch Open.
Yeah, it is sort of is what it is. You and it's a good thing, but it delivers what it should and what you expect, doesn't it? No one's ever taken by surprise. It's they're pretty consistent, the guys that pull that together. But yeah, very, very impressive stuff, and stacked as well. Like a lot of real talent, and people are obviously, people want to be there. So yeah, really, really, really good. Lovely sign.
Yeah, it was, and the production was good. But when it's on RTL, it's going to be good. Let's be fair. RTL are not going to have it on there if the production is awful. So was I surprised? No, not at all. Also for the ADC, their first weekend in the south at Bradnor Farm, again 2 great days of action. Great to have.
Sorry to cut you off, but that looked a really, really good setup. A really good setup. And I know some people that were there. I was a little bit jealous, to be honest, because like I knew quite a few people that had gone and it genuinely looked like somewhere that would be a very fun place to go and spend the day. And it's a bastard of a journey for me, especially if you're in an electric car. But it looked a smashing setup. Looked really good.
Yeah, it was wicked, and it was good that we had a streaming board. For that event. Look, my only criticism, and this is me just being greedy as a fan, I want those stream games all day, not just from the last 16 onwards. But that's me being greedy in terms of wanting content.
In the same breath, though, everybody's the same when it comes to the Dev Tour and the Challenge Tour and Q School. We want more. Of course we do. Correct. So, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Look, it's superb in that respect. And you guys need a Bradnor Farm up north. I know that's easier said than done, but it is just purpose-built for darts. This is superb.
Sounds like I should be going to somebody with a business plan, doesn't it? Needs one. Yeah,
Don't you do that for a living? Don't you do that for a living, Daniel?
I do this and that.
Looking at big buildings. Yeah.
I look after some very big buildings, very expensive ones.
Yeah, we want a Bradnor Farm. And this is
just the £1 billion estate. That's all it is.
And,
exactly.
And this is my worry now for the ADC North. That the South has put on an incredible show. The North has to match it. Otherwise, they go, that's not as good.
Yeah. But good. Yes. And let's be honest, iron sharpens iron, and everybody doing better pushes everybody else to do better, doesn't it? And, it just does. And unfortunately, you either keep up or you get left behind. And it's sometimes we can all look at the negative of that, because you will see things that have been established for a long time that won't be anymore because they don't change, adapt, and keep up. But you will see things develop that are new and exciting and will attract people. And ultimately, the people with the money in their pocket will decide on what stays and what goes, because everyone's only got a certain amount that they can spend on things and a certain number of tournaments that they can enter and travel to and everything else. And it will become a little bit survival of the fittest. If you provide something that people want to go to, you will know that you've done better than other people, because people will pay you and they won't have the money left to pay everybody else. And it's going to be an interesting few years as that continues to develop. I think there's more to do in terms of, and I think that there's a push for it. I think we will see more developments. It's very exciting though. It's going very well.
Yeah, 100%. I loved it. And look, the amateur game is in a really good place right now, and that's important in any sport, not just in darts. That the pathway from youth to amateur to pro has to be there.
And again, you look at it. We've had the news this week. I know we probably need to talk about it in Week in Darts, but I'll mention it now that we've talked about it. Look at Owen. Owen Binks has become the 4th referee now for the PDC because George Noble's replacement. And where did he start? Started on the Motor Super Series. Congratulations, by the way, mate. Hopefully see you in Minehead for a beveragino during the weekend. But
well, he started calling it, I'm sure it was county to start with, and then
exactly. Sorry, county and on to Modus.
But like
absolutely
you say, the
right.
progression path is there.
And look at the amount of players as well that have come through Super League and gone into it. Look at Gezi, for fuck's sake. Gezi was a former rugby player. He's then gone and played Super League, and someone's gone, you should go to Q School. He's gone to Q School, and he's become a world champion, a world number 1. There has to be that progression. The system has to work. And again, you see that now with the JDC. You see it now with players that have come through from Super and County, and County and all the rest of it, to then make that progression up towards the Challenge Tour and then moving onwards. It's circle of life, and it's good.
It's the only thing in all this. Look, this circle is great, but there are parts of this circle that are being left behind, like your county system and whatever. That is becoming more and more irrelevant to the system and redundant, shall we say? Because look, yes, people still play it because it's a piss up. However, it's not a pathway anymore. For me, county is now. It's a cul-de-sac you go down, and it just you get stuck in it. There's no pathway like there used to be.
Yeah, but there still is though. If you want it to be, if you want it to be, there still is. Like everyone, like people can play county and Super League and all the rest of it. For like you say, for the piss up. But also, if you want to try and see if you're already good enough to get to an average, like how many people do we get in the chat rooms, specifically around Q School in particular, that go, "Oh, I average 74 at Super League. Is that going to be good enough at Q School?" No, of course it's not. But if you keep playing in competitive matches, there's a chance that you might be able to improve your average and become a better darts player, and then moves it up.
I also think as well, it holds a very important place and it has a very important job to do, because for a lot of people that's their ceiling, and what it does is it still, I know we're talking about development and people pushing through, but I think there's almost I as a fan of darts and as someone who knows a lot of people that enjoy playing darts, I think it's important that you have both. I think it's important that you have routes for people who are talented and committed to progress through, and I think you need as many routes as possible. So that I think you need to find the bloke that's 55 that picked up a set of darts for the first time in his social club and decided to take it up because he's retired early. There should be a route for him, and there should be a route for my kids to play darts in after school clubs as well. Like I think it needs to be everywhere. But I also think it needs to be, and I've said this, like, when you get kids who play football, right? One of the biggest frustrations, or kids that do any sport, right? So my kids, they play everything. They play cricket, they play wherever, right? And one of the things that is very, very, very frustrating is when you get your kid in a sports club, and all that sports club is really cares about is finding the next Ronaldo, and develop. They're interested in and what you I think is sometimes good is just when you can just accept that there is a competition that exists on a particular level, a bit like social rugby is quite a good construct, where there is a competition that exists at a level where this isn't really about, someone's route to get to Ali Pali or whatever, but it's just people that really enjoy competing. They enjoy the novelty of the fact that they can have a walk-on song and they feel a bit special and they get to share it with their friends and people come and give them a clap, and that's the best they'll ever do. That's the highest level they'll ever reach. But it's important, I think, that in order to have a game that truly is for everybody, you've got to have those systems.
Well, it's the same with rugby, though, isn't it? Like, I mean, I referee rugby on a Sunday morning, on a Saturday afternoon sometimes. Yeah. And obviously, kids there, you're playing as a kid. Like, there's 99% of them aren't going to be going up to go in and play at Twickenham in the Six Nations. But there might be that 1% that is, but they still have to come find somewhere in order to play for that before they go into academy systems and all the rest of it. And in the same breath with football, again, players, again, kids who are in those sorts of scenarios are not going to go. 99% of them aren't going to go on. 99.9% of them aren't going to go on and play in a Premier League, but they might go and play Sunday League with their mates or Saturday afternoon kickabouts, And there still needs to be that avenue for people, like you say, who just love a bit of sport. In the same breath with cricket, you know, look at half the time on Saturday afternoons. Yes, a few of them then go on and play county on Saturday afternoons. You do get your overseas players that do, if you're playing on a Saturday in a 50-over game. But most of the time, people are just playing seconds just for the piss up. Nothing wrong with it. They just like playing the game and having a beer. So enjoy it.
And I think certainly in the, I mean, Christ, like Ted's coming up 6, and we're already seeing
That's
in the
mad.
sport. Well, that's mad for starters. He's 6 in March, but we're already seeing in some of the sports that he does, like kids being like filtered out and put into groups of, you know, this is the higher ability, like this is, and again, and this is difficult. Like being like, this is a darts podcast, you know, as a parent, it's quite difficult, right? Because you massively disagree with the concept until someone says that your child's going into the higher like development, and then you think, well, fucking good for him, like, and then it's like, it's difficult to find, you know.
But again, though, there are the haves and have-nots in all sport, and I get it, but at that level, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So Great Seven says, I went to school with Dan Ritchie, and he was crap at rugby till he was 13, 14. Then all of a sudden got good and went on to sort of rugby school, and then he was on Scotland captain. Exactly. You don't know when you're going to find the next big star, especially at that age, 6 years old. Do me a favor. Do me a favor.
No, I need one of them to be good. I need one of them to make it, because it's like it's my retirement plan, isn't it?
Well, it's true, to be fair. Or you just go out and
cricket started on Sunday. I watched the length that he pulled the ball down. As soon as cricket was back, Billy hit one. I saw the length straight away, and immediately I thought, that's early retirement for me. That's early retirement. You can keep that up.
Fairs. Yeah, look, it's interesting. What else have we missed in a week of darts?
Pro Tour, Wadey. Shock, are you missing that?
In a minute, before that, like, because that's like the.
Are we saving that 1 minute to 10, Philip? Is that what we're going to go?
Today there was some prime wading, like absolute wading,
and I am here for it. It's
many times.
It's the biggest troll. It's so good. Like the man again. I do not understand like why people do not think that this is the most entertaining man in darts. Like I think it's amazing. And this idea, this like. And this is what I want. Like, I don't want the People's Champion coming out with the stuff that he's coming out with and everything else. Like, I want James Wade to tell everybody that he's frustrated and feels aggrieved, correctly aggrieved, that he wasn't picked for the Premier League. And then just to tip up and win event number 1. There you go. That is another reason. Like, I'm just going in again, trolling the world, saying, I'll make you all look foolish. I hope he wins tomorrow as well.
And also, as well, it was interesting that Nathan Aspinall made a Pro Tour final as well. Two of the boys that Asp was probably in contention a little bit. I'm not saying he was anywhere near the level of, say, a Wadey or an Opper, but to have Wadey and Asp being in the final of Pro Tour event 1, that is a massive to the PDC. Love it. More for it. But as you say, MVG played brilliantly again. He just got on the end of a prime wading in the semi-final. That was it. Me.
Connor Scott played very well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Alan Gavlas as well. You can't
by MVG. There was some really good performances. Connor Scott beat
Jack Twello making a quarter final as well. I'm pretty sure that's his Pro Tour debut, isn't it? Or certainly a tour card holder.
As a tour card holder, yeah. I think he's topped up before, but as a tour card holder, yeah.
But still, tour card holder, first one having to go through Michael van Gerwen and playing that tough, but he did well. So some good performances. Looking forward to tomorrow when hopefully everything will be sorted, Philip, in terms of all the technical gremlins and all the rest of it will be sorted for you for tomorrow.
Possibly. See what time I get out of here tonight. There's a mountain of stuff to do.
12 o'clock tomorrow, by the way. Online Darts TV. Join us for it.
Yeah.
Look, 12's not a tour card holder, is he? Of course, he's fucking challenge tour.
I lose track of I've lost concept of what's going on since Friday.
People don't come to this channel for darts knowledge, Jarlath. You know that. No one's disappointed.
No one has.
There are people that do it, and if that's what you're after, good luck.
That's not us.
Yeah, this is not where we do that. I'm a hobgoblin. Like no one's doing darts stats drinking hobgoblin, are they? Like no one.
But yeah, the Wadey Mensah handshake and lobbing darts over his shoulder was quite funny. Was a strange one.
More of it, please. More.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, prime Wading to today, averaging less and taking out 3-ton plus finishes in a row, and it was just like, yeah, this is vintage Wade.
I promise. I've said it. I promise he lifts a pot this year. He 100% lifts a pot this year.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure he'll lift the pot, but I think he'll get to another couple of major finals.
Do you know where it could be, mate? And I know where I want. Like I know where I want.
Oh, well.
It could be the UK Open. You think how that draw could open up, and you could get.
That was the last one he won.
You could find all of a sudden he could win a tournament. He doesn't have to play either Luke. He doesn't have to, it doesn't have to play them because the draw colludes to find him a route.
I think if he wins one, it will be one of those events, but it won't be one of those events. It won't be one of those events. If he wins one, it won't be that. The UK Open in 21 was a bit different, but I think that if he wins one, it will not be an ITV event. And Philip, we all know why.
Yeah, he's better one game a day, like at Blackpool when he was superb and
yes,
and everything.
Yes,
like that.
What else?
Right.
We had more UK. Speaking of the UK Open, we did have more qualifiers over the weekend. I've heard. I don't know much about them.
There's never any results. Riley's do a piss poor job of.
No, it's all on Dart Connect now. It's all on Dart Connect.
Yeah, but I don't go to Dart Connect unless there's a PDC event on.
So who won then? Anyone we know?
Well, we had Oliver King and Henry Cutting win both of them in Norwich. Who win the two semi-finals in Norwich? Anyone?
No.
Bueller?
They don't get into the Billingham Catholic Club very often. I know that.
Okay. And then we had in the grand finals at the Worthies Sport Club.
That's down there. That's only 20 minutes from me.
Yeah, we had Callum Francis beating Mike Gillett in the final because Aaron Monk lost in the semi and Chaz Barstow lost in the semi, which is mental. So Callum Francis is the representative there. Do you know who he is?
No.
And then the Syston Brookside, we had the grand finals there, and we had Kyle Gilding. Don't know if he's related to Andrew. No idea.
It's his dad.
See, I love the UK Open. No. Well, I love the concept of the UK Open, but it's just not been done right for.
No, it's garbage. Like it's so annoying.
No,
it could
disagree. The Riley's qualifiers are back. Like, what more do you want?
I want one with him ideally, one within 3 hours drive of my address.
You're going on Saturday. You're playing, aren't you, with Cameron?
But I've got to drive for 3.5 hours, mate.
You're playing.
3.5 hours.
There is an ideal opportunity for the PDC to collab with the ADC on this.
Yes, but they won't never do that. And you know that.
Never say never. You know, you can hold out hope.
But you know why they won't collab with them. You know.
At the moment, the amateur qualifiers are so flawed because I want them all over. I want everyone all over the country to have a chance of qualifying.
I get that, and that's fine.
You can't. And so again, if you are. And it's not just like, I know I rant and rave about like being in the northeast, but I even mean, northeast Yorkshire, everywhere, Northumberland, all the way down to all of Yorkshire, across the Pennine. Like you've got one in Liverpool and you've got one outside of Manchester, and that's all you've got. There's nothing else. It's so crap at this end of the country. And it just seems there's these lovely little hubs. You know, if you live in Hampshire, there's these lovely little hubs where if you live around there, you can actually have 3 or 4 goes at it. Like you could go to one, or you could go half an hour and go to the other one, or 40 minutes and go to the other one. But I just don't think it has anywhere near the geographical coverage. And do you know what? I'd be totally fine if I'd put another round in it, and almost I would try and get as many venues as possible as a preliminary round, all over the country. And if you've then got to narrow it down to where you've got, if I've got to travel 2 hours, but I've got through my
local qualifier,
my local
Dragon
qualifier.
Champion of Champions.
Yeah, like my local qualifier, my regional qualifier. Like that's how locals, regions. I mean, let's be honest. This is a system as old as time itself, isn't it? Like locals, regionals, nationals. That's how it works.
No. This is why it didn't work last year. If you play in an open qualifier, if you turn up to an open, you should win it and therefore get a spot. I'm not one for not changing stuff, but for me, if you pay your 15 quid to Riley's and you go in and win the qualifier, you should then go on. That's why it didn't work last year with all the qualifiers. It doesn't work with the PDC. What is it, in-house bollocks that they're doing? I can't remember what it's called. The pay to play. Was it the pubs of the PDC? I can't remember.
Well, then geographically, it has to be. They have to do better geographically.
Yeah, correct. They have to.
I agree with that, but then then either make a venue or like you say, they'll have to do it with the ADC.
But this idea that the Rileys near us, our Rileys isn't a Rileys anymore. It's called Room 21. I'm told it's great. It's a good venue, but it's not a Rileys anymore because they sold it. But that means that nobody in this region gets an opportunity to play in the UK Open qualifier.
PDC in the community. Right. Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Because now, what you could do, I'll tell you, if you really, and this is the problem that everyone will have, because everyone will go, but how will we get pissed? And that's the question that people will ask. Because what you have got all over the country is some well-affiliated, well-equipped academies. And I agree with that. And now, if you think of all of the academies that are PDPA affiliated, that are very used to running, competitions, they have within those academies the knowledge, the skills, the experience, everything else to run tournaments. And for me, the obvious thing to do, if you want to come up with a plan of, well, how do we run UK Open qualifiers? How do we make sure it's geographically accessible for people, etc., is you just say, well, you just go to all of the approved and affiliated academies and you use them as a venue. They've got loads of boards, everything's set up. Occasionally they might have, some of them might have a bar in, some of them might not, depending on what, but that'd be my strategy. I'd use some of them.
Interesting. There was, where was it?
Big Johnny, I don't know what you mean by this, but the question that you asked, I've got no idea what that is. But that's another issue.
Now that, while it's 8, it's not going to happen.
No.
If it was 10 or 12, could it? Potentially, yes. But whilst it's 8, it's never going to happen.
Connor's questions on Humphrey's comments that Litter's best ever. Well, I agree. I think he is. I think he's the best talent we've ever had in the sport. And I've said that for a while.
And that's what Luke said. He said, look, did I say in the heat of the moment? Yes. But I stand by it. He is the most talented player the sport has ever seen.
Yeah, he is. Agreed.
He is. Not even close.
It is correct. It's not, for me, it's not. Any argument against it's too easy to get rid of.
We're not, Geordie boy, we're not talking about who the GOAT is. That's not the issue here. We're talking about who is the most talented darts player. Taylor was not the most talented darts player. Bristow basically made him into the champion that he was. And also, again, you look through the first 10 tournaments that he won in the World Championships, he was beating most of the time, beating dog shit before we got to the final.
And this is the, if you do want to do a football one, you can go, Pele and Maradona. Well, Maradona was a much, much better footballer than Pele. Much better. Much, much, much better.
Not even close. Like I say, I agree with you.
But people will, and you can have that debate forever, because what you then need to have to look at is all the different measures by which somebody can be the GOAT. Is it World Cups? Is it this? Is it that? Is it whatever? Is it impact? Is it that you discount them because of their behaviour outside of darts, and all of a sudden Maradona doesn't count anymore because he was a bit of a scallywag? And that is a more nuanced discussion. But if you just want to be brutal and say he's the most talented player of all time, you can't argue against it. He is.
No,
100%.
Phil Taylor's action and throw, whilst he was an incredible player, Pelé did win 3 World Cups, but he wasn't as good at football as Maradona. It's not up for debate.
I mean, just don't even. Pele's a fraud, and he has been for years. And this has been found out for years, right? Pelé is a complete fraud. That's our side podcast to discuss.
But yeah, that's another one for the Patreon channel, isn't it? That's another one.
Absolutely.
So we've got, I do think that it's something that is almost. I do think it's indisputable in terms of just raw talent. Raw talent. Yeah, I mean, Phil Taylor's throw and his action was a work of art, but it was a very, very developed one, and it took years of precise, practice and learning and training and drilling and repetition. And Luke just picks darts up and throws them at the wall, and that's what happens. It's very, very natural talent. Don't practice. Don't practice much.
Everyone, thank you very, very much for episode 234. Who would ever have thought that back in 2020, Jar?
Absolutely. I was just going to say, I'm amazed I managed to get through tonight's show without really insulting a lot of people, because I'm looking forward to going to bed in a minute. I've got to be honest.
Remember, this will be available as an audio only in the morning. The stream returns at 12 tomorrow. Got an interview with Mace that I need to finish editing as well. Fingers crossed that goes out tomorrow, at worst Wednesday. This is what happens when we do a 2-camera setup. I've actually got to edit an interview instead of just topping and tailing stuff.
Well, you got to. Obviously, then you got to drive to Antwerp, aren't you, on Thursday?
Yeah, it's all good fun. It's what we do.
Are you driving?
You're driving.
What a boy!
It's only 2 hours on the other side.
Yeah, it is. It's only about 2 or 3 hours. It's an absolute. It's a piece of piss to get to.
Ferry.
They're getting the show.
I was going to say ferry or tunnel.
Tunnel.
Oh, nice. Someone's doing well.
It's cheap as chips.
Not as cheap as the peasant ferry, though, is it?
Well, actually, the peasant ferries aren't that cheap anymore.
Yeah, no, it was cheaper than the ferry.
I haven't got a ferry since a school trip. I haven't got a ferry since it was forced on me.
But thank you so much as always. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And remember, join us live at 12 p.m. tomorrow for Players Championship number 2. I've been Phil Bars, Dan Simpson, Jonathan, and we will see you all next week.